Greetings, loved ones. For victims of domestic violence, making a safety plan requires taking steps that sometimes might seem awkward in a moment when there's no active conflict or intoxication. However, the preparation you realize during safe times will ensure that you have options when unsafe times rise again. Today, we're going to talk about how to create a safety plan. The information we have today is really important, so please grab a pen and paper to take notes on how you can keep yourself safe or help someone else stay safe. So if you want, you can pause the video if you need to take a moment to get some pen and paper. To help get these messages out, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit the like button, and share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. So let's talk about this. There are many things you can do to prepare in the event that violence becomes deadly. Preparation is the key to your safety. Just like doing fire drills, if you plan what you will do, then you will be able to do it safely. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to pack a bag with all the supplies you would need to be away from your home for at least 2 to 3 nights. For example, clothes, medication, cash, important documents, extra set of keys, etc. And then you want to keep this bag either in your vehicle, at your work, or at the place where you would go if it were needed. It's really important that your aggressor does not come across this bag. The second thing you want to do is you want to inform key people. These are the people who would need to cooperate with your safety plan and secure their commitment to be cooperative. This would include the person with whom you plan to stay, and because you do not want this location to be known by your abuser, informing anyone who knows where you would be staying that you want this information to remain secret. The next thing you want to do is you want to plan your exit. You want to mentally walk through the steps that you would need to take. Following points are meant to help you walk through the planning process. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to say, I can keep a bag ready, and I can put it here, wherever you decide, so I can leave quickly. You can say, I can avoid these specific places when conflict is possible, so I'm not trapped without an access to an exit. So for example, your bedroom, your bathroom, in a basement, you want to avoid being with the person in these places when they get aggressive, because you want to make sure that you stay near a door where you can leave. The other thing that you can think about is abstaining from retaliating verbally or physically to prevent the situation from escalating further. So if the person is starting to get violent, I remember in my situation, the person would come in and he'd start getting aggressive, and I would start defending myself, and then he'd get more aggressive, and then I start defending myself and say, you're being mean, and it would escalate and escalate. So be silent, try not to attack verbally or respond in ways that can provoke the situation to escalate further. The next thing you can do is you can tell so-and-so about the violence, and you can have them call the police. Like maybe you have a neighbor who can hear what's going on, or somebody else who lives in the same house with you, or the apartment upstairs or next stairs, or next door or downstairs, or even at your work. You can tell people that when they hear or see the violence, that you need them to call the police for you. Another thing you can do is you can teach your children to use the telephone to call police and the fire department. So you can do this without specifically talking about violence. You can say, if there's a dangerous person who breaks into the house, or if you see a fire, or just give them different things and teach them how to call 911 and what to say, where to go. With cell phones are different from house phones. Teach them how to use the different phones. Teach them how to hit 911, get to a safe place where they're away from the abuse, and call for help. You can teach them to do that. You can also create a code word that you can use with your children, your friends, or your family for when you need help. You could say to someone, if I say giraffe, that's a signal to you that I need you to call for help. You can also say, I will be aware that my partner may have access to my cell phone. So many times abusers are always checking your cell phone. Sometimes they're tracking you on the cell phone. And so you may need to determine to have a secret prepaid phone card phone, and a pay-as-you-go mobile phone is needed, because you don't want to be communicating on your phone and leaving messages that the person can read. You need to be very careful about your cell phone. And if you do leave, you need to take the battery out of your cell phone and the chip out of your cell phone if you can, and leave the cell phone behind, because you can be tracked on it. And the other thing you can say is, if I have to leave my home, I will go to, where is it that you're going to go? What is you going to do? You need to plan this ahead of time. So the other thing you can do is you can teach these strategies to your children. You can talk to them about how to be safe and where they would go if they weren't safe. It's really important to communicate with them, but then again, you also have to be aware about what information you give them and how old they are. You don't want them going and telling daddy, oh yeah, mommy's planning that if there's violence in the house, she's going to go to this person's house, or she's going to do this. You don't want that to happen. So be careful with the children, but you can teach different strategies to them without addressing the abusive situation. And then maybe if they say, whenever you're afraid, if you're afraid someone's going to hurt you, or someone's going to hurt mommy, or someone's going to hurt daddy, then call the police or go here and do this. You can do it in covert ways. When the argument erupts, you can say, I will move to a safer room. This is what I mentioned before about being someplace where there's a door in which you can exit. Another thing you can do is you can decide to leave money and an extra set of keys with a certain person or in a certain place. You can have a box hidden in the garage that has a little bit of money and some keys and papers or what you need. And that's the next point. You keep important documents at certain places. So if you can't take the original documents, you can make photocopies of the documents, keep them with a friend, keep them at work, maybe in your desk at work where he's not going to know where it is. Some place where your aggressor won't get it, but where you can get it. And, make sure you check with a person whether you can stay with them or not. You can say, listen, I'm suffering violence. I might have to leave. Can I come to your house? And for those of you who don't suffer violence, you need to be available. If somebody you love, somebody you care about, even if you have conflict with that person, if they're in danger, you need to open up your home and your heart to help them. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to review your safety plan every certain amount of times. Like maybe if things are really bad, you're going to review the plan every week. Or if things are just once in a while violent, review them once a month. And then you need to rehearse the escape plan. You need to rehearse what you're going to do, how you're going to get to the car, just like a fire drill. The alarm goes off, you know that you need to get out of the building, and this is the place where you need to go. In school, they teach the children, okay, get in a line, let's follow the teacher out of the building, and this is the place we're going to go, and then we're going to count heads, and we're going to do all this. The alarm goes off, kids know what to do. Tornadoes, alarms, kids know what to do. So it's important that you practice it, because when you practice it, you don't have to think about what to do when it happens. This is a really important point. And then the other thing, because laws differ in various states, you need to consult with a family advocate to ensure that you're not breaking any custody laws during the separation, like going to your mother's house in another state. Okay, it's really important that you make sure that your safety plan doesn't violate any laws, because you don't want to give any more power to your aggressor to come after you. And if you need to return home to get more belongings and you feel unsafe, you can actually ask for a police escort. So remember this, a separation may result in your being in the home and the abusive person leaving, or you may need to go rent an apartment and to stay somewhere else because of the lack of cooperation and the need for a midterm living environment for you and your children. So if a lack of cooperation on the part of the aggressor, if he's not wanting to change, if he's if he says he will change and then he doesn't, if that results in a prolonged separation, this would require additional considerations, okay? One of the things you can do if you're staying in the house is you can change the locks on your doors and windows as soon as possible. You don't want this person to have a key to your house where they can enter anytime they want. Another option is installing a security system. You can also install an outside lighting system that lights up when somebody approaches your home. You can teach your children how to use the phone to make calls to you and to family, friends, or a minister or somebody if your partner has tried to take them. You can also tell the people who care for your children who has permission to pick them up. Your partner's not allowed to. Inform the school, the daycare, the babysitter, church leaders, everybody. And you can tell these people that your partner no longer lives with you and that they should call the police if he is near your house. And that would be neighbors, church leaders, friends. You want them looking out for you. You have eyes and ears all around you who can inform you, oh yes, your husband was at the back of the church watching you this morning. Have people keep an eye on him. And like the ushers in the church, they can keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't come near you. Then you can get somebody to take you out to the car. Same thing at work. For the people at work to know that if he comes around, if they see him, that they need to inform you. If the degree of threat escalated during the separation or was predatory, then a protection order may be warranted. So when considering a protection order, it is wise to do the following things. Number 1, speak with the police department in the city or county in which you hold residence. 2, ask them to explain the process and evidence necessary to secure a protection order. 3, clarify what actions on your part would nullify the restraining order. That's a good question. 4, write down the name of the preferred individual or office to notify if the restraining order is violated. It's important to understand the precise legal protections provided and limitations created by a restraining order. If you choose to get this protection order, then it is wise to consider several things. First is you will keep the protection order in a specific location. You always want to keep it with you because if you're at the store and he comes after you, you have it in your purse. If you're at your house and he comes to your house, you have it there. You can make various copies of it. Also, that you will give a copy of your protection order to the police departments in the areas that you visit your friends or your family, where you live and where you work. That way they have it on hand. When you call them, they'll have it right there. The other is to tell your employer, your church leaders, your friends, your families, and others that you have a protection order. That way they know that if they see him near you, that they can intervene to help you. If your protection order gets destroyed, you need to know where you can go to get another copy. And if your partner violates the protection order, you need to call the police and report it. You can call your lawyer, your advocate, your counselor, and you can tell the courts about the violation. Preparing ahead of time can save your life and can save your children's lives. Violent aggressors mostly do not change. And when you decide to leave, things can become more dangerous. So for this reason, you need to have a plan prepared ahead of time. With 1 in 3 women experience domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. And those who suffer violence need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it's too late. Help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit that like button, and please share these messages with others. If you're a victim of violence, I want you to know that you are valued, you are loved, you are intelligent, and you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love. And if you're a victim of violence, please reach out to somebody. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about your survival needs and how to identify your support system. So until then, God bless you.